Okay, so I wanted to get the team together. This is something that I'm hoping we can do at least once a quarter. And we have grown really immensely over the last year. And it's exciting for me because um, this is really the start of year two here for me. And for those who maybe are watching the recording or who are new here, I'll introduce myself. But my name is Melissa. I am a bronze ambassador here at CUE, and I am just loving how amazing of a ride this has been. So, we're going to go over kind of a recap of what happened last year and where we're going as a team. This team, as an individual unit, has a lot of momentum and a lot of really strong leaders. And we just continue to grow month after month. So, as we do that, I am committed to protecting the culture that we have on this team, something that's very important to me. I never want to get too big and too feel too important to do the small things and to really get back to the basics. And for me, that is always taking care of our newest people, always making sure that everybody feels like a sense of community and love and friendship from this team. I never want there to be cliques or like an in group and an out group. I really want this to be one big family because that's really how it feels for me. It's a very personal thing for me. I truly love everybody that's here. And I know a lot of you have shared things with me, your story, pieces of your life that I truly don't take lightly. And I just appreciate all of you. So I want to share a little bit about, well, first, I guess, start with a question, and that is, and I want everybody to answer this, either write it down or put it in the chat. But before you do, I really want you to think on this. So the question is, are you doing this as a business or a hobby? And when I started here and last year, I was obsessed with CUE Sciences. It came to me at the exact perfect time in my life. I don't think Liz, who is on this call, she's the one that enrolled me. I don't think she knew how much I needed this. I started in a very dark time in my life. I was very depressed, very reckless with my spending, reckless with my day to day, because I did not see hope or a future for myself at all. It was just going through the motions. And that's kind of how I thought my life was going to be. Working just to survive. Basically, there wasn't a sense of purpose there whatsoever. And I had things that were good about my life. I don't want to paint a dismal picture, but it wasn't, I didn't have this sense of community. I didn't have a sense of purpose. And my mental health was truly in the gutter. And so when I got started with CUE, I immediately saw that hope for myself. I immediately saw a vision that and a dream and a past dream that Liz and I had literally prayed for together. I saw that being a potential reality. And I was very, literally, I would say, obsessed with CUE. I wanted to be involved in all the things, all the team stuff, everything. But, and I would have told you that I was here for business. But in reality, for the first couple months that I was here, it was a really fun hobby. It was a really fun, really amazing hobby because I didn't know what I needed to run this like a business. I did not have the skills. I did not have the mindset of a business owner. And I was just kind of like freight training my way through my first couple months here, basically off of talent. And I think I was riding a bit of the wave of momentum that we had as a team and as a company. But it wasn't really until I understood that I needed to get out of my own way and learn some skills to take this to a new level, to really learn what it means to scale a business and to treat this like a business where I can track everything and I can like show up as a business owner and make business owner decisions. That's really when I started to see a shift in my business. So as we go into this year, I want you to think about whether this is a business or a hobby for you. And if it's a business, how would a business owner make decisions? How would they show up daily? How would they, you know, get out of their own way in a lot of cases? Because that's what I needed to do. I needed to really see the areas that I was lacking and seek out ways to strengthen those skills. And I remember this time last year, I went to my very first convention. Brittany Hitch, who's our top income earner here, paid for a VIP ticket for me. And it seriously changed the entire course of my business. It was incredible, but one of the themes that really stuck out to me from that event was I remember Jake Spencer saying that you have to participate in your own rescue. And up until that point, I probably had not really been doing that. I had been very much just kind of skating by in life. I was not an active participant, and I used a lot of things that happened to me as excuses, as like stuff that I could blame, instead of really looking inward. And so you'll hear, especially if you're new, that Hugh hands out mirrors. It's not a personal development emphasis, I would say. Like a lot of companies, that's the only training that you'll get, and that's not the case here. Like we do teach business, we do teach you real tangible skills and actions that you can take. But just as much, you are going to be forced to see where the areas in your life are that you need to level up. And that was one of them for me, was really taking radical ownership over not just my business, but my life and what I was doing. And it's still a work in progress, but that's what this company can provide. When we talk about like intrinsic value that comes with the company, it's so much more than business. It's so much more than an income. And I'm seriously so grateful for that. So just a little bit of numbers. I don't have the exact number of how many people have ranked up over this year, but I'm gonna count it up and I'll put it in the chats, but it's a lot. It is way more than I've ever had in my network marketing career. And I was with a company for 5 years before coming here. But I can tell you for sure in the last 90 days, which the last 90 days typically are a very slow time in our industry. So fall, winter, holiday months usually are really slow in general. And we had 231 new enrollments in the last 90 days on our team, which is just insane. So that's customers and ambassadors. The amazing thing about that, and I know a lot of people joke that like Q Sciences people are all about recruiting, like they're all about like, you know, just like hardline business. Like we don't push products, and like that's something that I'm proud of, but it also I think can get like turned on our face a little bit, and as like, well, you can't possibly have that many customers then. But actually of that number, only 36 of them were ambassadors. So the majority of the people that have we've enrolled in the last 90 days have been customers. And that makes me extremely proud because it shows me that people really truly want this. We're adding value to people's lives. I can't tell you how many times I've seen amazing testimonials from our customers and repeat customers as well. So when we talk about that customer retention rate being over 87%, that's not like just blowing smoke. Like we see that, I would say, even more so on our team. And the really cool thing, I was adding up the numbers. We did over $100,000 in sales last year. So our team did a little over 89,000 organizational volume for the year. And I've been tracking the trends. I've been tracking like what we do and how the numbers ebb and flow over the months. I believe that this team will pace that in the first quarter of this year. That is where we're going. So it's a really exciting time for our team. It's really exciting with what's coming with this new vertical. It's a $3 trillion industry in the United States alone. And it's something that every single household uses. And we were just having this conversation a little bit before, but people are going to continue to see inflation get worse and worse. Jake and Mark are very in tune with what's happening in the world, and they saw this months ago. And that is why they created this new line of products. That is why they're transitioning to this, because they know that for a lot of people, they're just trying to survive. Like, yes, they would absolutely love to prioritize their health, but when it comes down to it, they're going to pick like household needs first. And so if we can help someone start a business by buying something that they're already purchasing at Target or Walmart or whatever it is, that's exactly what this is for. To get income into their pockets faster, to do it in a way at a price point that is easy for everyone. And then let's get them the extra income to be able to prioritize their health. So it's just kind of like really goes both ways, and it opens the door for a lot of people. Okay, so what I've got for you is I have a couple of our leaders on this team are going to share on a couple different topics that I feel like they've really mastered over this last year. And then I'm going to open it up if Cass, oh, she's still here. Okay, so we'll have Cass and Liz share at the end because I want you to hear from them too. They are two of the mentors that have really taught me a ton over the last year. But I will just, this is in like no particular order, but I'm going to have Allison share first. So Allison was the first bronze ambassador on our team. What's really incredible about that is she did it with about 4 active ambassadors. And so she truly was an example of how this business can duplicate. And I'm so proud of her. I want her to share a little bit about overcoming fear and being bold in business, because I feel like her story is the perfect example of that. So Allison, I'll give you the floor, and then anything else that's on your heart if you want to share.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Allison. And I've known Melissa for a while. She actually helped me get our farmhouse and our farm. So I was with Young Living for 4.5 years. Very loyal, worked really hard there, but didn't make it very far. And I was comfortable there, so I stayed there. And then Melissa kept bugging me about Q in a good way, because she saw something in me that I didn't see in me. I'm definitely one of those people that has never had a lot of confidence in myself. So Fear takes over a lot, and I get self-doubt and I say I can't do it. So I just stick with what's comfortable. So I jumped in, I think it was April, tried some products, signed up Jessica as my first ambassador because I knew she needed to be here. She was with me in Young Living. And then I got scared and I ran back to my Young Living business and tried to make that work. And I think my fear, the biggest thing, it wasn't starting over because it's not like I was making a huge amount of money. I didn't have a big organization. I think my fear is what people would think about me, and B, letting my team down that I was with at Young Living. So I wasn't thinking about myself. I wasn't thinking about my family. I was fearful what everybody else on the outside was thinking. So for months I was doing that, and Melissa just kindly would go, hey, look at your numbers. If you ever want to come back, they're here. And I was, Jessica's leg was growing. So it was really great. She's like, all you would need is one more ambassador. She just very kindly was just showing me. And then I finally got the nerve to say, okay, I'm going to come to Q. I'm going to stop Young Living, but I'm not doing this on social media. I just don't want to even, I'm just going to do this in real life. And I don't know what it was. I think it was just the realization that my family was more important and that nobody else was paying our bills. And we were at a point where we were desperate because we farm as well. And farming to set up is very, very expensive. And my husband has an off-farm job and I'm farming by myself basically. And that's very hard. So we finally just got to the point of I have to do something. So I said to Melissa one day, I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm doing this on social media. I don't care. And I just went in, and my peak post was actually about fear of change, fear of what other people would think. And releasing that felt so good. And I was able to just put one foot in front of the other and move forward. And then I think I grew in confidence of being bold. I mean, I've made reach outs to people I never thought I would reach out to before. And I've gotten a lot of no's, but they don't hurt as much as I thought they would. And it's okay. So yeah, that's basically my story. And my advice to you is remember who you're doing this for, and that will wash away all the fear and it will help you to be bold because you know you need to do this. My why is my family and my farm, and that means more to me than being scared and hearing a no every once in a while. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Allison.
awesome.
It's so fun to watch. I think it was, so Shay had shared Simon Sinek's quote, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but it was like, one of the joys of leadership is seeing people do something that they didn't think that they could do. And that has been the most amazing thing for me to see, like, our team truly blossom in leadership and growth. And I love it because we're still a young team. Like, we are going to do some incredible things over the course of this year. And I'm excited because I know next year you all will be having your own team calls and team kickoffs and all of that. And you'll have leaders that you haven't even met yet that are going to blow you away with what they were able to accomplish this year. So I'm literally just going down my list of, like, again, no random order, but the next person I have is Brittany Tackett. So she came in truly as a leader from day one. Her story is pretty funny because I think she told Courtney that she absolutely would never do this ever. And she's here. So I'm going to have her share a little bit on how your rank or your title does not define you as a leader.
Hey guys, I'm Brittany. Um, I'm so excited to meet you guys at convention if you're going. I hope you are. Also, so leadership, like Mel said, is not a rank or a title. Obviously, I came in here with no rank and no title. And I think if you have the right mindset, like you just are a leader. And I've been asked into leadership in several things, like with Bible study that I go to, with church. Like I just keep getting asked to be in leadership positions. And sometimes I ask myself, like, why? Why do people keep asking me to do things? Like, why do people keep putting me in a position like I didn't ask for that, you know? But it's okay, it's good. And I think there are a lot of things, you know, like Jake has talked about, you can have talent and you can have skills. It's great to have both, obviously, but some people are just kind of born leaders. Like I don't know, they just have an attitude of leadership. So I think what that looks like is being enthusiastic about what you're doing. Like your attitude should be excitement and enthusiasm. You can't come into a meeting and be like, hey guys, so here we are.
Like I am right now, dreading having to speak.
Like,
I'm like, do I have to?
but
Sorry.
yeah, but you know, if you're here and you're excited, then your team is going to be excited. Like you can't just lead from so Courtney, no, I'm just kidding.
I needed you to speak first.
Okay, good. So always, like, the attitude is excitement and enthusiasm for whatever it is that you're a leader in. Like it doesn't have to be cute, but anything. Yeah, I'm a leader at our church. Courtney's a leader at our church, in different areas. And so it's cool because we're excited about those things and we're excited about this. It's just your attitude. Also, willingness to face challenges. So a leader doesn't see a challenge as like something that they're going to be defeated by. They see it as something that they're going to grow from. So just like facing challenges head on, like if you, like Allison was saying, when someone says no, you're like, okay, well, I mean, just keep sharing, you know, keep moving. Their no doesn't destroy your business. Like you still have opportunity elsewhere. So don't worry about it. Being humble. So, it's hard to find a balance between like humility and confidence. Because you want to be confident in who you are and what you're doing. And I don't know if everyone in here is a Christian or not, but personally, my confidence comes from knowing who I am in Christ. So I know that I'm loved by God, and that gives me confidence to do anything, because like we were talking about in church this morning, who can we fear? If God is for us, who can be against us? Like you don't have to fear anything. What people think of you doesn't really matter. I mean, it says more about them than it does about you. So, but having that confidence, but also being humble about, like, you're not arrogant. You're not saying I'm better than you. You're not saying, you know, I can do this and you can't. You have that balance of I know what I'm capable of, and you know, I see something in you, like Allison said, Mel saw something in her that she didn't see in herself. And a leader does that. Like they look at people and they think, wow, look what they have. Like they are so awesome. And by the way, if you're here, like you're a leader, because if you have goals here, right when you say yes to Q, you're already a leader, because if you have goals, your mindset is a business owner and is a team leader. If you have any goals here, that means you're going to have a team of people to lead, right? So you have to think about that team before they even exist, and how you want to lead them. Okay, I had a huge paper note, and you guys, I almost like had a panic attack when I walked in Courtney's house because it disappeared. So now I'm on the website where I kind of got like some of my notes, but anyway. So also being open and honest, like Melissa was so sweet to share some of her experience and like being vulnerable and admitting when, you know, you've struggled or when you've been wrong, and being willing to take like advice, I guess, from people who are lower than you. I don't feel like at Q, it's not like anybody's lower than you. It's just like they're not there yet, as far as rank, but they are still a leader. And so just realizing that like we're all here like with the same end goal. We all want something good for our families, or for ourselves or whatever. And so like keeping that end goal in mind and realizing that we all need each other to get there. I don't have certain qualities that Courtney has, and Courtney doesn't have, we all need each other. So being able to learn from other people and not just thinking the way that you do things is the only way. Like there are so many different ways to do anything. So look at what other people are doing. And like a lot of the times I've straight up copy people, especially on Instagram. I'm just like, oh, that was cute that they did that. I'm going to do that too. So like, just realizing that your set way isn't the only way, and being willing to change. And I think this is the biggest thing, having genuine interest in other people and in their success, whether it benefits you or not. I think the person that I see this in the most is Kristen Wyatt, because she helps every single new person, whether it benefits her or not financially. Like it doesn't matter to her. She still, helps them when they're brand spanking new. And so just being genuinely interested in other people's lives and why they're here, in how they're doing, like just how they're feeling, that can go a long way as a leader. So I think, and also what was it, Mel, that you said? It wasn't being a certain rank, but also starting before you're ready. So like Franny is a great example of this. She was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, neither did I. It's fine. Like, just start scared and we will help you figure it out. We're all here to like lift each other up and to help each other with our goals and how to do that. And so, yeah. And like I told her friend who's thinking about joining, we will help you. Like we will hold your hand. You're not going to be alone. We're not just going to say, hey, thanks for joining. Great. That made me rank up. Good luck. Like that's not how it works here. So I think it's awesome. This business, like, I know that it's about products a little bit, and to me, it's more of like leadership training. Like it's more of business owner and leadership training, which I think is really cool. So, okay, that's all.
Thank you. So I'm going to have Courtney go next. Courtney, if you can't tell, is very good at cultivating community and friendships, and she really embodies that friends F of our 5 Fs. She is the sweetest person. Like at getting to be around her in real life, you feel the warmth, like you feel the love come off of her. You just like, she's one of those people where like every time I'm around her, I just kind of want to like snuggle up, because I just feel so like calm and happy and loved for real. Like I don't know, you just radiate love, Courtney. So if you could share a little bit about in-person events and how you've developed a really tight-knit team community culture.
Well, I so appreciate those comments, because I've had a lot of negative comments recently. And it's made me feel like I'm a bad person. So
not from Q
so
people,
nothing about Q, but just other stuff. I've been down, so I really appreciate that. So to talk about like community and the importance of like friendships, mine honestly starts with like my faith. Like every event that I do have, we start with prayer. A lot of my team are Christians, and I've met through church and Bible study and things like that. And just like, I pray for God to bring me the right people and the people that he wants in this business with me. And so that we can have the same long-term goals and the same views and everything. But with like in-person events, so I'm a huge introvert, but I'm also an extrovert. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I hate public speaking like this right now. Don't want to be doing this at all. So I'm really out of my comfort zone completely. And I'm like, Brittany, why don't you just talk for me? You know what I want, you know what I want to say. But having in-person events, at first I was really hit or miss on it because one of the things that drew me to CUE was not having to do in-person events like sip and share type things, like not having to do those things and like the Facebook parties and stuff like that. And I loved that. But like having a sip and share is huge. Not necessarily to get people to buy products or, to get people in your home, and you can start with prayer and you can just be their friend and be just like fun, like Mel said, like comfort and cozy. And like I lead Bible studies in my home instead of at our church so that we have the what's it called, like the cozy atmosphere, and just making people feel loved and valued and appreciated makes them want to do business with you even more than if you're just sending them a text like, hey, we have this sale, or hey, I think you would like this. Like inviting them into your home to try it and to like play games together. Like I love playing games, is like one of my favorite things. I love having people over and having like an icebreaker type game or something like that. Just so that we can have fun and like get to know each other and be in friendship with one another, instead of it just being like strictly like business, like strictly like when we do have sip and shares, like people come over and we hang out and we eat and like then we talk a little bit about CUE and try a little bit of products. It's not like, hey, you came in here and we're going to present you with this and you're going to try this, tell me what you want, and then see ya. But anyways, I really love sip and shares. They're like one of my favorite things to do. But also just like in-person events in general. Like I live, I don't know where everyone lives, but I live pretty close to Nashville, like 3 hours. And I signed up in May of last year, the very end of May, and then I was at my first event in June. And it was like super nerve-wracking and overwhelming and all of the things, but it was like put a fire under me so much. Like you just learn so much and you hear so much and you just like let it all soak in, and then it puts a fire under you. And same with going to a convention, obviously in August. So a few months later I was at another event, and so I get burnt out very easily. I work a full-time job. I have kids that are in full-time sports, and we're very involved in our church and all of that. So I get burnt out pretty easily. And so these events come at the perfect time to like light that fire again. So I'm due for one. Here it comes at the end of January. And then, a few months after that, we'll have another event in Nashville. And so every time like it like lights that spark again and keeps me going and keeps me amped up and excited and ready to learn more and to do more. But I think that's it.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Say anything else? You're welcome.
No, I think
I'm
that
so
was
awkward.
perfect. Yes. And if you need to jump off, I know you've got people at your house right now, so feel free, but I just appreciate your time for sure. Okay, so I've got 2 more speakers, and by all means, everyone that's on this call, like you all have done things that deserve celebration, and you all have stuff that I could absolutely have you speak on for sure. But just for the sake of time, tried to keep it fairly diverse. I'm going to have Shay share a little bit about noise and persistence when it comes to dealing with just what's going on behind the surface, behind the scenes, life stuff that can so easily become an excuse or a reason to not do this. And if anyone is worthy of speaking on this topic, I feel like it's Shay after this last year. So.
Well, let's see if I can like not get emotional on this, because like my kids just flew back to Hawaii. So for those of you that don't know, I'm Shay, obviously. And for those of you that don't know my story, to sum it up, and please, for the love of God, I don't want anybody's pity on this. It's a crappy situation. I don't like it. No mother would. But my ex-husband is active duty Army. And for those of you that don't know, my kids are with him the majority of the time in the lovely island of Hawaii. So I only see my kids about every 2 to 3 months for a couple of weeks at a time. And that happened. I found that news out about November of last year. I joined New Year's Eve of last year. And so I have just hit my 1-year mark with CUE. With that being said, I have hit a lot of curveballs in my time here at CUE. And while, yes, I could have very easily been a much higher rank, all things considered, in the time that I've been here, I have also done my brain and mind and everything else the courtesy of understanding that I needed to give myself grace and understand that life has kind of been, excuse the language, a shit show in the midst of everything that's gone on. So with that, on those days, and being the psychological nerd that I am, understanding that some days were 40% and that was my 100% that day. There were very many days that a lot of you and I have had conversations where I was curled up on the couch, completely in the clothes that I was in 2 days beforehand, and I was answering your messages and in 3-way chats with your people. And I will be completely and utterly upfront with that. So with that being said, yeah, Abby, I'm with you. I'm trying not to cry myself. With that being said, life is noisy, life is messy, and you can very well give up, throw in the towel, and say I'm done. But there is power in doing the little things every single day. Getting up, making yourself a bowl of cereal because that's all the energy you have. I cannot tell you how many days I've lived off Pop-Tarts because that's all the energy I had. But we're here. And my team is growing exponentially because of the time that while I may not have worked on my business, I have definitely helped them grow theirs. And I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. I have missed Elite by the skin of my teeth for the last 4 months, and I'm okay with that. Because Brittany has been here only a few months, and by God, she was 400 away from executive last month, and I'm okay with that. So, yeah, do the little things. On the days that you don't have it in you, go in the back office and look at your team's numbers and go shout them out and let them know how close they are to ranking. Because if you help them win, you will win eventually in your own time. And I cannot say how important it is just to do the little things behind the scenes on the days that you don't have it in you to do the big conversations, on the days that you don't have it in you to go do reach outs, go do the little things behind the scenes. And I think that's why Melissa and I are kind of like that dynamic duo when it comes to do a lot of things. For you guys that don't know, Melissa lives like 20 minutes down the road from me. There's a lot of times that Melissa showed up at my front doorstep just to drive my butt out of the house. And I needed that. And so that goes to show just a lot of things just within the community of CUE. It's a lot more than, I know I'm not a number to Melissa. Because we all know that I could very well, I would have benefited her more had I been elite already, had I've already gone to be a bronze, because Melissa's well on her way to silver. We all know that. It will happen very quickly within this next year, especially if Jessica and I get our butts to bronze. Like, let's do it, right? It won't be long. And so I know we are kind of, a lot of us are in that inner circle, and I was sitting there and I was like, oh man, I don't know. My word for last year was survival. Like, let's be real. I was just holding on. And Jessica popped in and she's like, girl, your word for last year was strength. Like, let's be honest. And so, yeah, let's use that strength to just propel myself, because I know what I'm capable of in the darkest of days. And again, like, I don't want anybody's pity here. That's not what I'm telling you guys the story for. I don't really talk about this a lot, but I want you guys to understand that there are leaders on your team, people who are answering your texts, answering your calls, doing a lot of things for you behind the scenes that you don't realize, that are struggling day in and day out, that are living off Pop-Tarts and Cinnamon Toast Crunch while just trying to get movement in. You guys know I love to work out, and sometimes it's really crappy workouts because, well, I ate a Pop-Tart that day. So, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Like, we all have the little things that we have to work on. And that's just really all of that I can say is just life is noisy. It's always going to be noisy in some aspect. And I think that's where the importance of understanding that balance within the 5 Fs really comes into play, because we have to have those people to lean on. And the world's just messy right now for a lot of us. But yeah. All right, Melissa, I'm tired of trying to cry, or trying not to cry.
I appreciate you so much. I am so proud of you. I adore your friendship. And truly, if it's one of those things where your consistency has shown through regardless. And I think so many people on our team have come to expect that and know that from you. And I never want to take that for granted. I also always want all of you to know that you can come to me no matter what, but so appreciate you. I've got Jessica, who is kind of in that vein, going to be talking a little bit about consistency, not giving up, and not giving up on people. And really, Jess is, I can't think of a better person to speak on this, because she's someone that Allison identified very quickly that would be amazing here. And Jess, like so many of us, said no originally. And yet she came in just like a total force. I don't think I've ever had someone match my energy for this business as much as Jessica has. And there are times when I feel like I have to up my leadership because of what she's been able to do and like the fire that she brings here. So Jess, I'm going to have you share a little bit on that and just like what you've done to grow and consistently bring new leadership into your business as well over the last year.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys, they're never going to let me live that down, because I'm sure at some point Liz will break out like the video of this, but my very annoyed and attitude, like, I'm not interested in this. I will get on a call, but I'm not going to do this. And then right after the call, like, okay, so I'll sign up on Friday. Yeah, that was me. But thank you very much. So along the lines of what Shay was saying, and guys, can I just, Shay, if you haven't worked with her yet, she is the most like selfless person in the world. I'm not on Shay's leg, I don't think anyways, no. And she will help out anybody, much like Kristen Wyatt. If you have a product question or a how is this going to affect me question, her nerdy butt will get on that chat and she will tell you whatever it is you need to know. And if you're having a rough day, she will be there to give you a pep talk despite what she's going through personally. So she's done that for me. She's done that for people on my team, and she's really just such a blessing to have. And I don't think any of y'all even realize if you haven't heard from her yet. But so along what Shay was saying, you will hear this over and over again, that consistency is so important, and it is. And I think people get overwhelmed when they hear you need to show up for your business every single day, because they think like they need to be hitting this all day long, every day. And that's not what showing up looks like. It can look very different depending on the day that you have. It might just be showing what you made for dinner on your stories. It doesn't always have to be Q. It doesn't have to be 100%. It can be 20% that day, and it's still showing up. So much like Shay said, just doing the small things. And I'm not saying don't take time off for your business. Definitely do. Have a day that you are off social media. You have relayed it to your team that you are taking this time. This is your family day. This is your day to do whatever, and enjoy that time off. But what you can't do is you can't say, oh, I didn't feel good this week, so I didn't do anything. Like, you can't do that. It's so hard to restart at that point. I've had a lot of people just lose whatever they had going for them because I honestly don't know. Things got busy. They got sick, maybe with a cold. I don't know. And I'm not I empathize with them, I guess, but I don't like excuses. I don't like to hear when people say they're busy. I'm busy too. You know, everybody is busy. Every single person on this call right now is busy. Every single person that you're going to talk to try to be a customer or an ambassador is busy, but you make the time. And it doesn't have to be, like I said, an all-day thing. Finding that balance, 20 minutes in the morning, maybe 30 minutes to an hour in the afternoon, 20 minutes at night, done. And making sure that you're specific about what you're going to do during that time. So you're not just lost scrolling on social media and doing nothing. So it's just really important to stay consistent in some capacity, even when you don't feel like it, even if you're like, I'm having a bad day, I don't want to do anything or talk to anybody, especially if you have a team. Those people you've brought into this business and they're counting on you and they're going to do whatever you do. So if you're blowing off your business and you're not showing up to any of the calls or talking about any of the things that are exciting and coming, how are you supposed to ask your team to do that? You truly do have to lead by example. And that's a great way. Show people how you can have a healthy balance without being a workaholic, which is something I'm working on, by the way. So I recruit a lot of people that I don't personally know. And I know that that's something that Mel wanted me to share about. So I do this on Instagram usually. And I know Cassidy does this as well. That's where she does most of her recruiting and prospects from as well. And I'm not going to get into how exactly to do that because there's been trainings on it and I'm happy to show anybody who needs to know that. But I think what's important is if somebody says no, I think a lot of people are really quick to just back off because they said no and because you don't know them personally. So you don't really, I guess, have that much invested. And so you're like, okay, on to the next. So I actually don't do that. I stay in touch with them unless the exception is that they're not talking back to you at all. They're not engaging in a conversation. They're blowing you off. They're liking what you're saying and they're not responding. Then I'm on to the next. But if they're at least talking to me, I'm going to stay in touch with you. I'm not going to bring up Q every day until you decide to join my business. That's weird. But I'm going to keep in touch with you. I'm going to watch your stories and every now and then I'm going to pop in and just be like, oh my gosh, how are you? Like, I'm so glad that things are doing great or whatever the case may be. And just being consistent because you guys get spammy messages. And I'm not saying to be spammy, but you guys get messages and offers from other companies. I'm sure of it because I do. You get Amazon people wanting you to take pictures of products, whatever, and you tell them no, and then they leave or they delete their fake account or whatever it may have been. You know right there, oh, well, I'm so glad I didn't do that because clearly they are just in it to rank up or to get another sale. And I don't want people to feel like that because that's truly not my intention. I am very selective about who I want to speak to and who I want to bring on board. So I am genuinely connecting with people that I am interested in, regardless of whether they join my business or not. I see value in them and I want to maintain a friendship and a connection. And I have had, several people over a stretch of time that I've checked back in with, and they're like, you know what, I think I do want to take a closer look at Q now. Like, you couldn't have asked me at a better time. This is going on, this is going on. I'm not getting support here, blah, 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 whatever it may be. And if I would have just blown them off and gone on to the next person, that could be a huge business builder, a runner with me that's gonna get the vision and love this and have a passion for it as much as I do, because not everybody does, and that's okay. Not everybody has to be like me, but man, it's exciting to work with people who really just are lit up by Q and they're excited to be here and they want to run and they want to do this, and you don't have to speak life into them because they get it just like you do. And those are the people that I want to work with the most, the people who show up, they come to calls on a Sunday evening, they plug in and they're ready to work and they're ready to take constructive criticism. And I just think it's really important to to play the long game, I guess, with people, if you really truly see potential in them. And then the last thing that I'll talk about really quickly is just showing our systems here, because they are really unique to our company. It's what honestly I think makes us so successful compared to other companies. And I've been with an embarrassing amount. I'm not going to list them off, but it's a lot, you guys. And no other place has what Q has. And unless you're showing those differences, nobody knows. So not just here's what we have and here's what we don't. And I share these too, but like the already made graphics, we don't do this, we do this. Share those every once in a while, but get personal about it. Like, how is it different for you here compared to your last experience? And you can do that in a tasteful way without bashing the other company. But you have to show those, because if you're only showing products and the products that you're using, which I do think is great, but if you're only showing that, then you're only attracting customers. That's it. People aren't, oh, wow, she's drinking a hydrate. Yeah, I might want to buy that. I'll swap that for Gatorade. I'm trying to be healthy. If that's all I ever post, then all I'm ever going to attract is customers. And customers are awesome, but I want to attract business people. So I want to talk about, how is the business working for me? How is it unlike anything I've ever experienced? And specifics. Our community really is different. And I know if you've come from another company, you feel that, you understand it. And people don't get it until they're here. So whatever you can do to show that and relay that and really show your heart is going to attract the right kind of people that you want to work with. And a good way to know if you're sharing authentically is just, is it easy? Is it easy? I was with Young Living with Allie for almost 2 years, and it was not easy for me to share about stuff. I liked using my oils. I liked the Thieves Cleaner, but the like image that all of the leaders portrayed, it was not me. It didn't feel like me. I felt like a phony, and it came across, and I wasn't successful there. And here I can speak, and it feels right. And it's just me sharing my life and how excited I am about being here and the products that my whole family uses. And it feels natural. It doesn't feel forced. And so I'm not burnt out, because I'm just sharing every single day what my day looks like and my excitement for being here. So I promise, if you just be true to yourself, you're not going to burn out by showing up. I think that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, let's close this out. So I want to have Cass hop on. Cass is our gold leader here. I can't believe I'm saying that. I love having her as a mentor. She's one of the sweetest, most humble people that you will ever meet. But she is this kind of quiet force. And I realized that when we were at convention last year, I had the opportunity to sit in on Silver Dinner because of my VIP ticket. And we sat next to Cass as she won like award after award after award for the leadership on her team. And she truly is the perfect embodiment of our whole culture, our systems, everything that we have here, the types of leaders that you see on Equity Council, that's what Cass portrays. We are truly, truly blessed to have her as a leader on our team, someone that pours into us, gets us connected to corporate, gets us connected to, top company earners. She really does do everything that she can to make sure that you're set up for success in your business. And I just so grateful for you, Cass. So go ahead. I will let you
Yay, thanks for that intro, Mel. So kind. Yeah, it's been a wild ride to say the least. I feel like I know most of y'all. But if I don't, I am here for just whatever you need as an extra support always. I want you to know that, whether that's messaging me through Instagram, Facebook, whatever. This team really is taken off by storm. And I know you guys have an amazing leader in Mel and so many different leaders on here too. So really use them and utilize them. And that's kind of just a little short snippet that I wanted to share on. A little bit on my story background with Q. So I joined in November of 2020, actually like October 31st of 2020, and hustled my booty, got those fast start bonuses, was so ready to do this business, saw a lot of potential in it. And after November, I fell back in rank. I think I was barely maintaining builder. And so throughout those months, I was kind of figuring out how I wanted to build this business. And if I even wanted to build this business, I kind of had the thoughts of, okay, is this any different than any other company out there? Like, why did I jump into this? And I really had to sit down with my why and be like, hey, even if this took me 5 years to get to bronze to silver, whatever that would look like I'm still working towards those goals. And if I just stopped this cold turkey, I wouldn't be doing anything like that. I would be working my 9 to 5, not really building an income from home like I really wanted to. And so I had to really check my why. So I want to challenge all of y'all. If you are kind of struggling with, I don't know, just business, because it happens, really get down to why you started this business. It takes just as much effort to stop it and not do anything as it does to really work it. And so I kind of started running with it. And I think that was probably in February or March, was like, okay, if I'm not going to get anywhere with my close friends and family, because those were all the people that signed with me and then fell off, then I am going to need to find another way to navigate it. And so I know a lot of y'all are in that in between of, hey, we're going to go approach local businesses, maybe working with different gyms, maybe approaching church friends and those kinds of people too. And so getting out of your comfort zone, no matter what avenue you take, for me, it was the social media part of it. And so I really honed in on Reels, getting on my stories and just trying to create a platform and a trust with my audience. And I want you guys to know social media takes a while. People don't know you on there. You can't just post a couple of Reels and then be like, oh man, I didn't get anyone coming to me. Like, I promise you that's not going to happen. Maybe like 1 in a million. But sorry, the dog's toy. But if you stay consistent on social media, it can be such a sweet tool. And again, your audience doesn't know you. And so you sharing consistently through Reels, through stories, how you're going to build that trust with them to allow people to come to you. But I also started approaching people and getting comfortable with that, because we all need to get comfortable with that, right? And so then Rachel Bilstead, I know all of y'all know her. She was probably my first like runner here with this business. And really, I saw like my drive in her and I was like, all right, we're doing this thing. And then from there, other people started coming to me. When I approached them, they actually responded back because I found a way to navigate social media. And so I say all of that just because I found something that worked for me. I wasn't going to be a Brittany Hitch and have all of these leaders like Jenna Tomer and Jamie Howell and all of those big leaders that you guys see coming to me right away. It took time, but I was willing to put in the work to get to that point. And even if it takes me 5 more years to hit platinum, like helping y'all hit your goals and really just finding a passion for this business and building those relationships is what's going to keep you here. Yes, the money is awesome, but you guys have to find a way to navigate this business that brings you joy. And so that's truly how I overcame some of like those hardships in the beginning. And just know the beginning of business is the hardest part, getting it up and running, but there's always going to be ebbs and flows. You're going to feel frustrated, kind of like someone was talking about. You're going to need those events to perk you up and keep you moving and keep you excited and keep your team excited. And so really dive into those. I think when I started going to events, my first one was 6 months, I think, into this business. That's when it changed the game. So you guys will hear me talk as a broken record on events, but I won't bore you with that because I know someone talked about it, but I can't speak highly enough of those. And then I'm just going over my notes, anything else that I really wanted to share with you guys. I also will say, and I always like to know where like placements are and just like who's in my upline and everything. It's just interesting. And so I joined part of Brittany's team that she does not build under. I just want you guys to know that, like, I have not had a leg built for me. I think that that's amazing if you do, but never count on that. You are in charge of your success here in this business. The fact that Q allows our upline to build into us is like huge. That doesn't happen in all these companies. And yes, it's a huge attraction factor, but a lot of times that leg that your upline is building is going to turn into your small leg anyways. And so you're going to need to find a way to navigate it on your own. And so just kind of close it out. You are in charge of your own success here. There were so many times that I was like, man, I wish I had this leg built for me, or I wish I was really getting more of like that mentorship from this person. And I like never got those checkup texts that probably all of you guys get from your upline, because I know Mel and Jess and Liz are amazing. I never got those. And I'm not saying that like boohoo me, but I just found a way to be like, hey, my why is going to drive me in this, regardless of maybe the things that I'm not getting. No one else cares. I am going to be in charge of my own success here. And it also has been like just really rewarding to be like, wow, I've like done this. And so just know that if you guys are kind of struggling maybe with comparison, is no one's going to kick you into silver or gold on your for you. They're not going to like push you there. You got to do it by yourself. And you got to really take ownership of that. And so yeah, don't want to talk too long, Belle. Sorry. But that's all I have.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to close this out. Quick housekeeping. I'm going to be working with everyone pretty one-on-one, or working with your leaders. And we're game planning moving into this new product launch at the end of the month. After we get back from convention, we as a team are going to be kicking off some team-wide training programs. I know Abby and Jess and Allison are working on one, and Shay and her team, we're going to have a boot camp. We're going to try and keep our groups a little smaller because we want this to be really beneficial for you as the individual. We don't want you to get lost in a crowd of 1 million people. Like, this is dedicated skill building time for you. And so yes, that's the game plan, just so that everybody's aware. And I am going to have Liz Davis close this out. Liz is one of my closest friends. She and I worked together well before we were ever in network marketing. I trust her and her judgment implicitly, and she is someone that truly is in this for the right reasons. She's always looking out for her people, even people that are not on her team yet, and just really pours into them and loves on them and is a true servant leader. So Liz, go ahead and close us out. I know your vision for this year is a great one. And I would just love any words of wisdom for the team as we walk into 2023.
Yeah, thank you, Mel. That was so sweet. Hey, everybody who knows me and the people I haven't quite met yet. I hope I get to see your face at convention. I have a few things I've been reflecting on, specifically like moving into the new year. I feel like I was a little bit on a lag of like planning for the new year and envisioning. I think I was still hungover for Christmas for like a week straight. So I'm still like in the getting used to 2023 kind of thing. But I've definitely been thinking a lot about just how the action we take in our businesses daily stems from the level of belief that we have in what we have here at Q. And Jessica touched on this, Cassidy touched on this a little bit, but truly nothing influences your belief more than attending events and staying plugged in. So like these calls, for example, I mean, just like the community that we have here and like feeling the friendship between all of us and just the journey and hearing people's stories, it lifts you up and it makes you want to be a part of it. So like Brandon Stevens always says, if you want to stay lit up, you've got to stay plugged in. So if you're wondering like why you're feeling, I don't know, distracted, whatnot, like get on some calls, talk. Like I think this week I texted Melissa and Jen and I was like, I am in a funk. And I know that like I can come to the people on this team and I just need to get plugged in and like let them like help me have that vision again. It's, you know, we all have days like that. But something, Courtney Coulter actually came over with her husband last night for dinner. Disregard Walker, he's kind of knocking on the door, but I'm gonna just let him knock on the door for a little bit. And we were talking about just like mainly like our husband's perspectives on this business, where we're kind of like in this season of like work, but it's going to pay off, and just shifting the perspective to like, if we were to invest in a brick and mortar and open that up, the average is like 2 to 5 years before you're even turning a profit. And that's you like going to work every day, managing inventory, talking to customers, like literally not really even having a day off because you have a brick and mortar and you need to go open the door and manage employees and do payroll and blah, blah, blah. Like it's so much more intense of what our business could take to manage than the blessing we have to get to do this from home and juggle your kids and change diapers while you're on calls and stuff. It's just so cool. So just changing that perspective a little bit, like if you haven't had this level of success that you want yet, like, are you comparing it to somebody else that you're just, you know, comparing yourself to and letting it steal your joy? Or are you comparing it to, if I were to start a brick and mortar and invest over $100,000, like where would I be with that? And then also like, what kind of standard would your spouse hold you to if you had invested that much money? We have such a low barrier of entry here. So like, would they be okay if you woke up one day and you're like, it's rainy outside, I'm just like in a gloomy mood because it's gloomy outside, which I am guilty of doing that myself, but just thinking, just a little perspective shift of just owning your own business and like what we have here. So another thing with the Inner Circle Challenge with Jake teaching us for the past few weeks, I have loved it. But one specific thing, a quote I wrote down and he put it on the slideshow was, you can't lead people when you aren't fully committed to yourself. Why do we expect to have a huge global impact when we can't even impact ourselves to be fully committed on our own journey? When he trusts you, meaning like God or whatever higher power you believe in, he blesses you with people to lead, not to slaughter, but to prosperity. And it's like, are we expecting people to be drawn to us and attracted to us before we are even at that level of commitment where you're like, I'm doing this no matter what it takes? Because I think there is that like dipping your toe in the water a little bit when you get started with this business sometimes, and just hoping people, you know, I don't know, want to join you. But it's like him and in this challenge where we are being challenged to level up in every 5F that we have here at Q. Like it's just molding us into the type of person that attracts the people we want to attract. So I love that about that. And I love that he called that out. And he's like, how committed are you? Like, have you actually given up soda that I've challenged you to do? Because it's just an example of one hard thing, but it's really just a mindset thing that is like one amongst millions of hard things that you're going to have to deal with here. So it's almost like developing your character, like a little baby step at a time. And he mentioned that the greatest promoters promote what they're doing. Like, how are you living your life out? Like, are you being the things that you want to promote? Are you actually using the FFM? Are you moving your body, which is one of our fitness things? Just like, if you feel like you're in a little bit of a funk or like stuck a little bit, what F do you need to kind of like start embodying more and sharing more about so that you can bring people that want to be like that too to Q. So anyway, another quote, sorry, I have all these quotes, but Melissa mentioned this to me earlier. Regret is so much worse than fear. So the people that you're scared to reach out to, like, do it. And so many people have said this on this call, but I've been like recycling that in my head too. Okay, last one. 70% of our convention people who come to our convention are 3 months old or less. That blew my mind when Jake shared that statistic. Like the people, like just getting people to convention. It's crazy that people don't, I don't know, that only 30% of us are like repeat coming to convention, but it also tells us like, y'all keep bringing new excited people in. Some people won't stay, but a lot of us will, and a lot of people will be new. And I don't know, it's just something to think about. Anyway, I know it's already 5:11. My timer is going off in the oven too, so I gotta go get my food out.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much for closing us out. I know this year is going to be amazing. I don't think I could have said all of that any better. So I will get the recording out. Appreciate you all. Thanks for hopping on a Sunday, and have a good night.